Welcome back to Serious Sunday, everybody. My name is Luke, and I'm your host, and this is the show where I talk about video games and things. And today, I thought that I would talk about Skyrim, because Skyrim Special Edition came out about 2 weeks and a little bit of spare change ago, and I've been playing it a little bit now that I've had a couple of weekends to myself to just sort of get back into Tamriel, and I'll tell you what, I'm having a pretty good time. It's not a real departure from what you may know if you're already familiar with Skyrim. Don't expect any major changes as far as gameplay and so on are concerned, but if you're running the PC version like I am, or I believe actually the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 versions may be in the same vein as Fallout 4 getting mod support, which is pretty exciting. Don't quote me on that, however. You have access once again to mods, so that's pretty cool. Even though, I mean, to be fair, on the PC version, the Skyrim Special Edition does technically nothing that isn't already moddable in the original Skyrim, but there is the benefit that Skyrim Special Edition is 64-bit instead of 32-bit, which the original was, so there is the potential for usage of a little bit more of that PC's just oomph in future mods, perhaps, although most of what's coming out to the onto the Nexus at the moment is all mostly just reworks of existing mods that happened and were available on the original. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing. I'm having an awful lot of fun playing with the Frostfall mod again, which is now available in the Special Edition. Which adds a whole new layer of difficulty in Skyrim that I really kind of enjoy. I don't know, I'm not so great with like survival challenges in a lot of games, but for some reason I like to add that sort of special extra layer of difficulty and a sort of survivalism in games like Skyrim, where if you're not familiar with Frostfall, what it does is it really sort of capitalizes on Skyrim's whole frozen north, lots of mountain exploration and snow and just terrible weather type things by giving you a heat and cold gauge that you have to sort of keep an eye on. It's not necessarily even a gauge, it's just sort of in-game messages, but where you can get hypothermia if you aren't wearing warm enough clothing, and you have to stop from time to time to sort of warm up by a fire. Carrying a torch is helpful. It all just sort of adds to the realism of the game, and that's something that I really enjoy, because unlike, I think, some players, I am very much a explorer in the Elder Scrolls games and Fallout as well, to be honest. I actually put a lot of time into all of these games. I think cumulatively, if you look at my Steam numbers, it says that I've played somewhere in the range of about 75 hours of Skyrim. I think that number might actually be quite a bit larger, because I don't think when you run Skyrim through the Nexus using the script extender that it counts it towards your time in Steam. I'm not 100% sure. But and Fallout New Vegas, at the very least, is about 130 to 140 hours. Fallout 4 is getting up there these days as well. So I get my money's worth out of a Bethesda game because I'm an explorer. I actually, confession, do not think I have finished a single one of the Elder Scrolls games. I have finished Fallout 3, but I never finished Fallout New Vegas. I never finished Fallout 4. And Skyrim, I think I have only just barely gotten the Da in Fus Ro Da. I didn't really get very far into the Thalmor subplot. or any of the whole Stormcloaks versus Imperials things, because I'm I'm like a crow with a shiny object in a game like Skyrim. I spend a whole lot more time just kind of enjoying the scenery and wandering around in the forests and noticing things on compass markers and sort of veering off of the beaten path to find out, hey, what is that thing over there? What is this, cave? What's inside this cave? What can I do over here? And that's sort of a cool thing that these open world games, what we old farts used to call sandbox games before Minecraft and its ilk really grabbed that particular genre name by the balls and sort of co-opted it. But it's this sort of open world game where you're sort of given free rein to go and just sort of enjoy the game in your own way. People like me, we can really get a whole lot of mileage out of these games, but I think that when you do offer that sort of hands-off game approach like Skyrim and the Elder Scrolls and the Fallouts and really anything that Bethesda, the main Bethesda, has released, there is the sort of baked-in problem that you do run into the issue of players like me who will probably never make it all the way to the end of most of your games because I'm just out there enjoying everything else that there is to see. I've done a lot in Fallout 4. My map has markers all over it, and a lot of them are filled out. But I've only just barely done the first major subplot that has to do with the institution. So that's that's probably not that far into the game. I don't know, maybe it is. Like I said, I can't be 100% sure because I haven't finished the game, and I'm interested in one day finishing the game, although I honestly am probably fooling myself that I ever will. But that said, we're also doing a Fallout 4 series on the show, so maybe I will get to see the ending because we're going to be playing through that. It's also going to be modded to fuck. That is the thing that I do, and I think that Bethesda did a really good job in releasing its modding tools to the community because that really adds a lot of mileage to these games, like a ton. And I know that some people are not necessarily into mods. I've made my opinions on mods very, very clear in the past. I think that it is a great thing and adds so much to games. And it's not all, naked bodies and, strange clothing and just outlandish shit. Like I said, I got so much mileage out of like Frostfall and so on. That's sort of a extensible game experience is such a big deal, and it's so cool, and I really hope that Skywind becomes available one of these days because that's going to be a lot of fun. I own Morrowind, but I hesitate to say that I am unable to enjoy the game because it's not graphically impressive, but ever since Skywind was announced, I was like, well, fuck, I'll be playing this in the Skyrim engine version of creation, so maybe I should wait to really, really get my hands dirty in Morrowind. So, I don't know. It's just that kind of a thing. But I guess what I really wanted to say today about Skyrim is that it's still a lot of fun. Once again, Skyrim Special Edition is not anything super new, but if, like me, you had the expansions already, then you got Skyrim Special Edition for free anyway. So, maybe it's worth getting back to Tamriel and checking it out again. I know I've been enjoying myself. I have this huge backlog of games, but for some reason I'm going back to a game that I've already played for 60 to 75 hours. So, that's the kind of thing that happens, isn't it? Anyway, that's me this week. Thank you very much for listening. I hope that today's episode was interesting to you. I'm just talking about Skyrim, and it's not a big deal today, but I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you liked seeing some of the stuff in the background, that's the kind of thing that you can do with modding. I've been playing around a lot with EMB stuff, which is sort of graphical enhancements, which are really, really cool. So there you go. Anyway, thanks very much once again. I hope that I'll see you all again soon. Thank you very much for dropping by, and take care.